was trying. You know I gotta throw a biblical invocation in this thing. And Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way that he should go. Stop there.
Depart.
Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way that he should go. Stop there.
Man, what's the deal? What's the deal? PolitiKan the Podcast. Back again. We got the whole squad here, man. Ready to chop it up. We got to get to this voter fraud. So we got, first thing we got to talk about is, man, is dead people voted for this election. This is crazy. Trump had a bunch of accusations about voter fraud. And now we're actually starting to see some real cases of fraud out here. So was the whole election a fraud? Is this whole system a fraud? We're going to have to chop it up, man. Gonna bring in the cast.
Look like Caleb frozen again.
I know, right?
I was like, how did you do that pose?
Hey, what was the song you were singing last week, Ronnie?
It was a Frozen song, right? It was
Let it go. You were singing.
Oh man, I am never using that R word ever again in my life.
But it's gonna come up during this podcast, and they know it.
Mm-hmm. You talking about what?
Preemptive strike.
damn.
So y'all want to?
Man, how was everybody's day? How about that?
Man, it's going good over here.
It was good. It's pretty easy going on this Veterans Day.
Hey, I can't lie, out here it felt like a holiday. Not like a regular holiday, but like a 3-day holiday. And today was Friday because everybody and their mama was out in the streets. There was lines wrapped around every department store. I'm talking about Ross, TJ Maxx, Burlington's, Barnes and Noble, Best Buy. I mean, we drove around and I was like, I feel like we're going to wait in line longer. We're going to be inside the store.
Right.
And then once you went inside, the line was long too.
Right. Well, that's the key shit. That's why we got online shopping now. You got to deal with that bullshit.
I can't do it, man. I need that interaction. Actually, I won't lie to y'all. I went to Walmart this morning to try to get a bike pump because girls broke the bike pump. And I was telling the lady, thanks for her service or whatever. She was telling me have a good day. And then she was like, have a great Thanksgiving. I was like, wow, that's hard to say because, we all want to hang out with each other. And, right now for California, the restriction is supposed to be 3 families only, and you're still supposed to be distanced and you're still supposed to have a mask on. And I was like, you know what? I don't even care about all that. I just hope, people love each other and remember that, things will get better regardless and they will never go back to what it was. And she stepped around the register and was like, can I have a hug? I was like, please and thank you. And I gave her a hug. She's like, you have a blessed day. I was like, you do too. And the whole day's been like great off that vibe. I just didn't really get to share it as much. Like I didn't get to share it like social media like I wanted to, but I was like, hey, that was great way to start the
day. That's what's up.
It was. There you go.
There we go.
Man.
There you go.
That was that bullshit, man.
You was frozen, bro. You was frozen.
Man. They tried to take your boy out, man, but we back again, man, after all these technical difficulties. But y'all been seeing these cases of voter fraud coming out, man? Georgia over here recounting all this stuff. So they saying there's only a couple hundred. So that's not thousands of cases like Trump is trying to make it seem like it is. But they are finding dead people in the ballots.
But
Who wants
where?
to touch on this? This was in Nevada.
Oh,
This was
okay.
in the.
Because I know I
This was
saw
in.
something.
Yeah, this was in Nevada. They found a couple hundred cases of fraud as far as dead people voting.
Damn.
Yeah, that's. But see, is that like officially reported, or was that something?
This is official.
Mm.
The I guess I don't know what his position was, but he came out, the director of everything, and he came out and he said that they are going to find fraud, but they're not going to find enough fraud to turn the election over for Trump. So they're coming out and admitting that there was some fraud and that the fraud does exist, but just not at the grand scale. Is it going to be 10,000 votes that he needs to turn the state over to him? No. It's a couple hundred.
I mean, by them admitting it to this shit, what that tells me is there's always been some fucking fraud. You think this is the first time some fraud has happened out of all these years? If they don't knock it off,
They like it as long as it works in their favor. They never do a search for fraud. Only when they lose, it's a problem. Because I saw something else where they were claiming somebody released some type of anonymous list of supposed dead people that voted, and that's why I asked if it was a legitimate claim, because they claim the same thing for Michigan, and CNN actually just did a random search of the list and found that all the people, like of about 50 people on that list or whatever, they picked 50 from the list, and they said 37 of those people were actually dead, and of course were not found to have voted. And then the other ones were alive, and some voted and some didn't. So that's why I was like, these are some of them are legitimate lists. Yeah, there's some good people, but they aren't voting. Like it's just put out by Republicans because they don't want to accept Trump's loss.
I mean, that is real, but like you said, the fact that fraud exists, period, makes me question the whole system in itself. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's on the grand scale that Trump is, we know that nigga lost. That nigga lost, but now he's trying to claim, I think that he's trying to get the whole election thrown out and get it thrown to the Supreme Court. So he's going to try to claim that because there was some fraud, that the whole election is fraud, and he's going to try to get the election thrown out like it's a court case.
Hey, I got some barbershop talk for you. So I got a haircut, right, on Friday. And it was at this guy's house in the garage. You know, we try to do our distance thing or whatever. And his brother tells us all, and it caught me off guard, but I believe it. I'm someone that believes everything I hear at first, and I'll do the research just to see, right? Mm-hmm. I heard that within the ballots that were mailed out, that the official ballots has some type of presidential watermark. And this presidential watermark was something that only the Republicans knew that was going to be placed on the official ballots. And then any additional mailed out ballots, like say, you know, you got your first official one and they sent another one to a different address because you didn't use it yet or whatever the case may be. If it comes out where any of the ballots were used from, say, 2016 or whatever, it's going to start a case that will be able to be taken to Supreme Court, and like you just said, would, you know, possibly be able to throw out this entire election. So while that was said to me, I'm sitting there like I can't move, I can't make crazy facial expressions, right? Because I'm getting lined up and all that. I was like, hey, but be honest though, is that what you believe? Because I've been kind of shocked, as much as everybody feels like before the election and while it was happening, Biden had a lot of power. He had a lot of, you know, the train was moving. And Trump was quiet. You didn't hear as many Trump rallies. You didn't hear him doing all his, you know, normal publicity like he did in 2016. He didn't even have no crazy slogan like "What more do you have to lose?" like he did when he first got elected. So, I mean, I was like, there might be some truth to it, but I hadn't found anything since. And then just to touch base on the whole dead people possibly voting. Like my mom passed last year, and when they came to do the census, we did one online, we did a paper one, and then we still had the guy come to the door. And when I told him she had passed last year, Literally, he said, okay, so what time? Okay, so that means there's only been this amount of months that there's only been 5 people. Like, he was trying to like make sense of it. So it kind of caught me off guard where I was like, hey, yo, like, why does when she passed matter when there's still, you know, the same 3 kids, the same 2 adults, and she was terminally ill? Like, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, where I'm like, that could have had something to do, like what you said. It could have been more to it. And it's just smoke and mirrors because we didn't, you know, we're not looking into nothing like that.
Man, this is all fucking smoke and mirrors. That's all it is. Come on, man. Even if it is a couple hundred, that's not enough votes to make a significant change or a difference in the overturning. It has to be something that's like significant. It's smoke and mirrors. Just like I've been saying the whole time, this is all the show. You know, each thing that pops up is another, you know, scene or script to the show. And everybody just got to enjoy the show. This is the same shit show that I've been watching the whole 37 years I've been living. So,
man, like I said before, man, this reminds me of the Patriots. My dude Tom Brady deflated a couple footballs to win a Super Bowl, and we still like, cool. Hey, Tom Brady, you still the man. Like, he cheated to win some Super Bowls. And now we like, oh, okay, it's cool. I don't care if it is a couple hundred. At the end of the day, you had to cheat to win, whether it was for a couple hundred that don't make a difference or whatever the case may be. Just because they found a couple hundred don't mean they ain't more out there. So, I mean, but at the end of the day, it's Operation Get Trump Out of Office. So it doesn't matter to people because it's going to get Trump out of office. If it was reverse, like I be telling people, let's go with the mutual, just go down the line. If this was reverse and Trump did that, a lot of people will be outraged. Like, oh, he can't, get him out of there, get him out of there. But since it's to get him out the office, we all like, cool, it's all right. Tom Brady effect. Deflate a couple balls.
So you saying we cool with them cheating as long as they get Trump out of here? We don't care if they was cheating or not. We're accepting the cheating because we want Trump out of there so bad that we're ignoring the fact that they said fuck democracy and decided to do whatever they needed to do to get that nigga up out of here.
Exactly. Because
let's not go there.
When we go, oh, you know, it's only a couple hundred. Okay, cool. So we're accepting the fact that they did cheat. Like the Mighty Lioness said, yo, is this a valid source? And it's a couple valid sources. And the valid sources are saying, yes, they did do that.
But my question to you is, so let's say it's a test and you were going to fail the test, but you cheated on the test and you got a D. Nigga, right. Whether you cheated or not, nigga, you still failed. And that's how big of a margin Trump has lost. So even with the little bit of cheating that they did, it's still not enough to turn the election. It's not enough fraud. It's not enough votes. Now, as the people, now it's more damaging towards the system as a whole. As people, we question the system more because we know that they're cheating. But as far as this personal election, it's not enough of it to overturn the election. That guy still needs to get up out of here.
No, but look, think about this, Caleb. Go ahead. You go ahead, y'all. I'll go after you. Go ahead. My bad.
Like that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you were going to win, you were going to win. So whether it's the smoke and mirrors to me is the whole thing of, oh, it's only a couple of hundred. Oh, they cheated off their chest. They only got a D. Like at the end of the day, you cheated. So if you had to cheat to win, you didn't really win. Even if they want to give it to you, you didn't really win.
Who is you? Who are you talking about? You're saying that Biden did this himself? Like, who is you?
Right.
Who cheats?
His camp, the Democrats. If
that wasn't his camp that did that.
It wasn't specifically his camp.
It doesn't matter. It went to them. It doesn't matter if it went to the winner. The winners at the end of the day, it went to Joe Biden's camp. It went to Joe Biden. So
he's saying like it's a consolation championship.
Yeah,
right.
Those votes went to Joe Biden.
Are you saying that? Are you saying because he won off of cheating is not the same type of win? It's almost like an asterisk.
Yes, I look at
It's not.
look at it. Alvin, look at it like college football. Look at Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart. They got Pete Carroll. They got caught cheating. They got caught cheating 10 years later, and guess what? They got their whole championship stripped away, and that's what Yajiket is arguing. Is that what you're saying? That they need to go back and strip away the victory because he cheated?
This is a horrible argument. America was built on cheating, man. Come on, dude. They came over here and stole the land. The Europeans came over here and stole the fucking land. What the hell are we talking about here?
Right.
America was built on cheating.
Just because something was built on.
You're taking it the wrong way, though. Look, you're taking it the wrong way.
Just because something's built on.
Hold on,
Go ahead.
I know where Yajiket is coming from. It was like, regardless if you look at the land that we talking about was built on bullshit, right? We all can agree on that. Regardless of where the past is, quote unquote, focus on future type shit. We're looking at what's to come forward for 2021, right? How much fight do you think is still left on the Republican side from right now, November 11th, 2020? All the way until Biden would be sworn in. How much fight do you honestly think they have? They're already calling everybody out at any Trump rally. Coon this, Mexico went back that. They don't give a shit. And I'm not saying I'm a Republican. I'm not saying I'm a Trump supporter. I'm not saying I'm anything, because I don't give a goddamn about either one of them two or where any of the two parties are trying to take our nation. But what I'm saying is, we all fear the fact that if Trump lost, there would be a civil war, because they weren't going to just sit back and say, oh, we just going to let Trump walk out of office. This is a very strategic move of people who have less to nothing to lose. Because right now, we're talking about dead votes. We're talking about this. We're talking about that. The conversation is going to continue to be talked about until we're going to sit back and go, oh, wow. Do you think somebody might try to like assassinate Biden during the swearing in, just to put Camilla in, just so that, you know what I'm saying? Like, so much controversy comes from, like y'all said, he won because, quote unquote, he won. That's, but cheating or not cheating, he won. So if we know that a cheater who wins is a winner and a cheater who gets caught is a loser, we don't know if he's gonna get caught yet. And I'm not saying Biden cheated. Maybe the whole Democratic Party cheated. Maybe the Democrats and the Republicans have some shit behind the back going on, and somebody slipped up and did the wrong thing, and now some other shit is coming out. I don't know. But I'm with y'all when it comes to having integrity. When it comes to having integrity, you don't want to just sit up here and go, I won, because y'all ain't got no idea what the hell happened behind that.
But to rebuttal to that, what Cherie was talking about earlier was last election, the Russians were doing the same thing on behalf of Trump, and Trump didn't say nothing when it was cheating getting done on his behalf. But now when it's cheating get done against you, now you want to talk about it. You had nothing to say. You didn't say nothing about the fraud. You didn't say none of that.
And I definitely get. But here's my deal. First of all, I get what you mean, Alvin, with you talking about a cheater is a cheater. But here's the problem. That's the pot calling the kettle black in the politics game. The very fabric and culture of politics is a dirty game, and it's full of people. Ain't none of them honest. Period. Yes, so when it comes to tightly contested races, all bets are off. Everybody in camp is trying to do whatever they can to win. Just like Trump tries to put his vitriol out there for his supporters to gain traction and do all this other stuff, just like he put the word out saying that mail-in ballots aren't valid, even though he's previously used mail-in ballots for all elections. But all of a sudden, they're suddenly not valid, and he didn't want them counted. He tried every dirty trick he could to impact the election, but it worked against him. So now he wants to holler cheating. At the end of the day, all of them have tried different angles of playing this dirty game called politics. And it just so happened to work for one party over the other.
And that party got caught.
Trump cheats on his taxes. Let's stop playing.
They got caught.
But every year they got caught. Every year they get caught to varying degrees. So you got to think about the fact of they decide how bad it is. Every time, like we found out about the Russians, they did wasted America's time. They carried out this probe forever on the Russians, and what happened? They brought it out. They punished a couple of people because they knew about it and lied about it. Ooh, big whoop! Because that goes into international spying, which is frowned upon here and overseas. So it depends on how big of a sin of what they think is wrong at the time. Like, is it a big thing? Is it not? In this situation, yeah, they got caught, but this is part of a political dirty game that they play all the time. They all do this. This ain't new with voter fraud. This ain't the first time they brought up dead people. It's the first time it's becoming to the forefront because of this particular race. Like, this is the first time it's really been brought to the major stage. It's always been.
And we cool with it. And we cool with it as people because the shoe is not reversed.
Hell yeah, we cool with it. Yes, we cool with it. Absolutely, we're cool.
Well,
with it.
they're not cool. They're not cool with it.
You cool with it? You cool with it only because the shoe is. But if it was Trump, this whole conversation.
Man, I don't give a damn. It's been America. Like I said, not only just we talked about it being the past. It ain't the past. America is still cheating. It's still cheating to have 40% of jails all black people. That's cheating. That's cheating when we only make up 12% of the country. Like, get the fuck out of here. It's still cheating going on right now.
It's still cheating.
It's still cheating going around in America right now. I want to give a damn about no cheating. They cheating every day. Every day they're cheating. They're cheating with the system. The system is a cheat. It's a cheat. It's a racist system. Let's not talk about integrity here. All of a sudden, integrity is important. Knock it off. Stop. Stop.
Maybe not for you, but maybe for some of us. So I don't care about.
We're talking about America as a whole. America as a whole.
But we are in America. So when we go, oh, it's cool. You know, then we ain't changing nothing. We ain't even trying to make an uproar for it. We just saying it's cool.
I get it.
But
we've been saying it's cool. We say it's cool every day.
In Georgia. No, we're not. We're not saying it's cool because, for instance, this is what's going to happen in Georgia. They're recounting every paper ballot. So if something like what Alvin was alluded to, where the official ballots have a secret seal on them, when they go through and do a recount of all the paper ballots, all the false ballots are going to get flushed out of here. So this is what the next step is going to be. And Georgia is initiating it. All these swing states, this is probably what's going to end up happening, is that they're going to end up hand counting all of these paper ballots, and we're going to figure out how many of them were legitimate and how many of them were fraud. Go ahead, Alvin. You're dying to touch on this.
Look, this is what this trips me out, right? You know, when I heard it, I was like, ooh, I hope we can talk about this on the podcast. You know it. And it kind of trips me out where, like Ronnie said, that, you know, we only account to 12% of America. Is that what you said, Ronnie? 12%, right?
Yes, sir.
Don't most people like joke about how Atlanta is our Wakanda? Don't people joke about how Atlanta is like our modern day Wakanda just because so many black owned things come from Atlanta? All the, you know, the Southern rappers, they stay home, they stay, you know, locked into their communities, they build up their communities, they build up the state of Georgia, they all rep the Falcons, the Braves, the Hawks, you know what I'm saying? How come Georgia's the first one to hand count it? I mean, I'm not asking you guys on some like sarcastic raging type shit, but just like on some, I wonder, why in the hell Georgia? Is it because most of the black people are there and they think that maybe some of those ballots were tampered with and it would have been easier to kind of get pushed under the rug because more black people were there? Or is it just we're, you know, putting all 50 states in a hat and I reached in and I grabbed Georgia and we're going to go at Georgia?
I think that it was Georgia because Georgia had a slight margin of victory. So it's a state that can actually get swung towards Trump's favor if they actually do a recount and they get a substantial amount of fraud going on in there. So I think that's why Georgia was first, because they can actually swing that for Trump.
But even
ahead,
swing isn't even enough. So that's the whole point.
Oh.
Like, even if he swings Georgia, that's not going to be enough for him to win the presidency. So that's the whole reason, because Trump is his attorneys. He had them on the ready to see if he could file any suits, force any recounts. And it's a reason why he hasn't really done too many suits. There's no room, because at the end of the day, the goal is for him to see what he can flip to become president. And is it even worth his time and effort to put into this? It's like, this was such a hotly contested race and extremely, extremely close. So I can see recounting Georgia, because they want to make sure before they certify the results that they're 1,000% sure, and I can understand that. But at the same time, for anybody else, it's like, at this point, especially once he secured over 1% of a lead, then there's no point. It's nothing that's going to swing in Trump's favor. It's also why he's been noticeably quiet, other than trying to claim voter fraud. But then I think his attorneys probably told him to close his mouth, because he's just doing too much.
Cherie, do you think, just for that second though, how you said how he's been quiet, and that's like I said earlier, he's been more quiet now than we probably have ever seen him within the last 4 years. So unless somebody on the PR team has been like, shh, it's all taken care of, he wouldn't be quiet. He cannot be muzzled. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, they've been trying to muzzle him for 4 years, and it hasn't happened. He has never been this failing on Twitter.
Literally, like, if you think about it, who is the most notorious person on Twitter besides Donald Trump? Say it, Ronnie. Say it, Ronnie. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant got multiple burner accounts.
That's his burner account, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy gets the Twitter fingers, turn the trigger fingers, all that, right? Donald Trump is how old? And we sat back for 4 years. Dude, we sat back for 4 years and went, how is he even able to do this? I know I got a mother-in-law who's 62. I got a dad who's 62. I got a second mom who's 62. They even got no Twitters.
Nope.
They don't even know how to work it. So there's somebody who's on his side, in his pocket, saying, I pay you, shut up. You tweet what I just said. Tweet it now and let me see it on the Twitter thing. You know what I mean? Literally. So it's like, why would he be quiet? Why would he be so quiet that the radicals haven't made a move? I don't know about any of you other black people, but as soon as I heard that Biden won, I was afraid to go to the store. I told the girls, I said, hey, listen up. On some real shit, I don't care how light-skinned you think we are. If someone looks at me the wrong way and calls me something out my name, I'm going to hand you the keys. I'm going to tell you, go turn the car on. I'm going to calmly ask the person to leave me alone. I'm trying to take my kids home, blah, 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 blah. If it turns to some shit, my 12-year-old knows how to drive now. She don't know that's why I've been sitting up here teaching her how. You're not going to sit up here and disrespect me, my family, and stop me from making it home. So if it came down to blows, I got a left hook, a right uppercut, and I'm going to slam you on the ground. I'm hopping in the car because it's already warm, and we taking off and we handling our business. And that's not me trying to be an aggressive person. I'm just trying to be strategic, because I'd rather, like I told you earlier, Ronnie, I'd rather go to Walmart. I'd rather do my shopping. I'd rather put that bullshit mask on just because my kids need to actually see other people and interact in some type of normal, you know, like some type of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So those are things that I was afraid of. And for a week, I haven't had to think about it at all. Like I said, I hugged a person in Walmart. She was white, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I don't know who she voted for. But me and her got eye contact. And you guys want to know the truth? I was in a tie-dye beanie. I had a WNBA hoodie. And I had my pajama pants still on. Because I had zero fucks given to anybody that wanted to say anything about me. And for her to ask me for a hug because she felt my positivity, it made me feel some type of way. So I'm telling y'all, just to end it real quick, Trump ain't quiet for no reason. Trump is not quiet for no reason. I'm just saying, stay woke and stay aware.
Exactly, because he's planning. But the other thing is, I strongly believe he's gonna be the first president to be evicted from the White House. Because he in addition to the concession plan, I've heard rumblings that he plans to shackle himself in the Oval Office.
Oh, I've heard that too.
So that's crazy. So it's like
That will start a civil war. That will start a civil war. If you have to arrest Donald Trump on camera, it will make people uproar.
Let me throw a monkey wrench in here real quick.
Okay, Ronnie.
This shit is hella immature. He's acting like a child, first of all. Let me ask y'all a question. If the one and only black president were to act this way in a loss that Donald Trump is acting, would he not be getting killed by everybody right now? Mm-hmm. Would he be able to get away with that shit? Would a black man be able to act like Donald Trump is acting right now? Without America killing him, the media killing him. Come on, man. This is bullshit. Like I said, this is a shit show. He shouldn't be able to do this. Why is he able to do this?
White privilege at its finest.
That's what I'm saying. Would Brock be able to get away with that?
Nope.
Hey, Ronnie, Ronnie, you said it was a question though, right? Right. Go ahead, Mystery. My bad, Mystery. Go first.
No, I was just agreeing that Barack was lucky enough to get in office, let alone anything else. So he couldn't do anything but behave in a culture way, and they attacked him regardless.
Watch this.
So,
Miss Cherie, watch this assist I throw to Yajaketic because he doesn't see this alley-oop. You ready for this alley-oop, Yajaketic? Finish this dunk for me. If Obama would have acted this way, would you believe that more black people would have made a stand right then and there that, hey, don't try to do him this, that, or way. I feel some type of way because now you attacking him for being black, where if he was white, you wouldn't have said nothing. And it might have actually made people come together instead of dividing because, not everybody wanted to see a black man in office. Give him the dunk. Give him the windmill.
No. It wouldn't bring us together. We need a lot more to bring us together than that. We got people dying, police sitting on people's necks, people dying just for wearing a hoodie, walking down a street, and we still not together. So just because the president is kicking in the office, it ain't gonna bring us together. We can't even come together right now. So we need something more than that. But going off of the whole Trump thing, they started off with Atlanta because Trump wants to know, are they really the Jamal Anderson? Are they doing the dirty bird? You know what I mean? Are they doing the dirty bird? That's all it is. He's just trying to expose it. And if one is exposed, he's just trying to show, hey, listen, if this state is like that, what means this state ain't like that? So, I don't know. I don't know why he quiet, but for a person that talks a lot and he quiet, that means he got something up his sleeve and he's just waiting for the right time to pull it out. But no, to answer your question, we need to come together now. So
I think he pulled it out though. Because have y'all seen Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron has joined his legal team to fight the fraud accusations. So this is another. We're talking about how we're not together, and that's exactly we got a black man leading the hunt now for fraud, and now that he has a black face to put up there, because it's all about optics with this guy Trump, man. He just always cares about the way it looks. But this guy Daniel Cameron, man, is making his way up the ranks in the Republican Party by cooning, man, and it's crazy, man. If you're not privy to him, he was the one that basically had the oversight on the Breonna Taylor thing because that happened in his state. And
because he notoriously bungled that.
Mm-hmm. He came out and said, basically was talking in favor of the police the whole time, man, talking about, well, you don't know their circumstances and, what they did was lawful. So, we can, as long as there's people like Daniel Cameron at the forefront, man, there can never be unity in our country.
Oh, I'm sorry, but that was just that's another black man that he bought and put on the payroll because he thinks black people are notoriously stupid and even Black Republicans, he has no respect for people of color, period, no matter whether or not they share his party or not. So Daniel Cameron is just another Black pawn for him. Is nothing for him to use him on his thing, because Daniel Cameron, once again, it's all optics. He has his star attorney that he wants. I think he still has Giuliani. So that's who he's really leaning on.
Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, he still has former New York Mayor Giuliani. So he's not really leaning on Cameron. Cameron is all about the optics. It's all about the controversy. It's another name. And most importantly, it's a Black man, so that he doesn't appear to be racist, which he is. It's just that this is another Black man that he was able to buy, just like he bought, who was that? Those 2 Black women he had on his campaign when he ran. Before I refuse to remember their name.
Oh my God!
I got a question.
I don't know.
My question is,
Go ahead.
My question is, isn't that the same thing that Biden did with Camila?
Wow, that's exactly what I was about to ask. I wanted to be oh my God. Thank you.
I
You got a good point there.
Only ask that question only because of like how we referred back to we the 12%, and a lot of us are in the jail system, and the 2 people that helped put that together was that 94 bill, and they got both of their names on it.
Mm-hmm.
So with that,
So what do you think about that, Ronnie?
You don't think Biden put Camila with him for the same reason?
Kamala, can you say the lady name right?
Oh, whatever her name is.
Kamala Harris. Nah, I don't think that applies right there, because you know what? It's hard to believe, but a lot of us are tapped in to what's really going on. Half of us, more than half of us aren't, but a lot of us don't even fuck with Kamala like that because we know about that 94 crime bill. There are ignorant people out there that don't know about it and probably know about it and don't give a fuck. They're just happy that she's the first, Black woman. And I get that. But at the same time, she was responsible, had a direct hand in, breaking up a lot of homes back then, resulting in a lot of gangbangers being raised and a lot of troublesome kids without their fathers in the home. She had a hand in that. So a lot of people don't fuck with her anyway. So I don't think it was a crap move for Biden to do that. He was going to really, really go good or really, really go bad, because a lot of people don't fuck with Kamala Harris like that. A lot of Black people don't. That's the truth.
Can I piggyback on you, Ronnie, by asking you a question, Caleb? Because I don't know the guy's name offhand, but I do know that he's not somebody that's about Black people or even helping out anything that's moving forward with us as a unit. What's the third person in line for Democrats? It's Biden, Harris, and then it's the guy from California. I just can't remember his name offhand.
You Newsom? You talking about the governor?
No, it's not Governor Newsom.
Oh.
It's somebody else. I'm gonna try to look it up right now. But from the same barbershop talk on Friday, whatever this dude's name is somebody that had a lot of issues with our stuff going on in California with not lifting the quarantine. He's like in bed with Newsom and all that stuff. And the way it was presented to me was that, have you thought about the fact that the he say, she say about Biden's health issues is only he say, she say because nobody's actually forced him to take these different tests other than just COVID. And the reason why I bring this up to you guys now, as I brought up my mom earlier, she had Alzheimer's and dementia. There was times where my mom was driving where when I told the doctor when she drove, he was like, there's no way in hell she should have been able to drive. So you can leave a little bit to God and a little bit to her mental health that he probably just misdiagnosed. But when I think about Joe Biden being 74, if I'm not mistaken, man, he has dementia, or the rumor is that he has dementia. When you're that old, that disease takes over your body very fast, very rapidly. And there's going to come a time where within the next 6 months, honestly, if he hasn't already shown us that he's not just a puppet and that he's reading a teleprompter, he's not going to be able to make these different decisions. He's not going to be held competent to run the nation. And then that's going to put our first Black woman or Black vice president, Black female Black president or vice president into the presidential role. And then this third person comes vice president. And I'm just a little nervous with the same way Ronnie said it, where most black people don't mess with her because of what happened back in the 90s. Who's to say that all this isn't still a strategic move? And Trump is already knowing it. And that's why all this stuff that's coming out is to stop what could actually be worse. Because Caleb, you said it and Ronnie said it too. Actually, you said it first. You said this is the Hunger Games. And we're thinking President Snow might be the worst, where the chick that's in line next could end up being worse than him. And we're actually seeing it happen, like you spoke it into existence. Because right now, when you saw Beyonce post an old picture of Joe Biden and an old picture of Kamala Harris, if I said her name properly. You know, Beyonce gets over $1 million for an Instagram post. That's a lot of money to pretend that you actually support somebody. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? It's a lot. It's so much more to this that I feel like it's just. Go ahead.
So if you remember, when early on in the Democratic race, Kamala Harris was actually the front runner for a while. She was actually the candidate. Yes. And then when it came to the Democratic debates, she dropped the ball in the debates, and that's when Biden kind of took off. So it seemed to me like Kamala was their plan the whole time. So when Biden endorsed her, I didn't look at it like you were talking about, educated, as, okay, they're just trying to put a black face. That was their candidate anyway, and because they couldn't get her for the presidency, they got her for the vice presidency. I don't think that Biden made that choice. The Democratic Party made that choice. He's just like along for the ride to get the presidency.
Just like the Democratic Party made the choice to put Biden as Obama's vice president when he talked about hope, when he talked about change, he ran by himself with his wife and his 2 daughters, and that's all he showed. And then as soon as the debate started happening, Joe Biden was his vice president. He never showed anybody as his running mate. That's what little I remember.
That's true.
Well, technically, what they do is when they build these candidates, it's a supporting ticket. So of course they're picking somebody that's going to make that candidate more palatable. So wherever that main candidate lacks, that's what they're looking for in that next candidate. And to be honest, with the selection of Kamala Harris, I was just looking at it as Biden trying to recreate the excitement behind the Obama presidency by hiring not only a woman candidate, but a woman of color. And that was his whole thing. So if you look at the list of candidates that he had out, most of them were women of color. So that was the whole deal. So Kamala was not always the front runner. Yes, it was seen that she was the obvious one, because she had some traction going. But at one point, you got to remember that they were also strongly looking at Stacey Abrams. And we don't even know where she came from at the time that she was doing it. So this was always a political ploy to really make that ticket strong. So they were appealing to the vast majority of a Democratic base, which is people of color. So no, they didn't have a main black candidate, but they will have a supporting black candidate that's a woman, because that was going to be the next big thing. So you might as well get a double minority.
Well, that's deep right there. That's deep. But this morning, man, so I woke up early this morning to Linsey Gram, the chairman of the Senate, having a pop-up hearing. They calling them hearing, but I guess nobody ever goes to jail after any of this stuff. So I would just say maybe like just a conversation. It's not really a hearing because no legal ramifications come from it. But he's having a hearing with the FBI and the CIA, and he's talking about basically voter fraud from the 2016 election and voter fraud from this election, and how when there were voter fraud in the 2016 election, all these things that the FBI and the CIA was doing to combat it, but then during this election, the FBI and the CIA basically turned a blind eye to all the fraud. And so he's a Republican, a Trumper, so he's basically grilling the FBI and the CIA like, hey, y'all was doing all this and doing all that when the Russians were involved and all this fraud was going on in 2016. But then in this election, you turn around and you guys act like y'all don't know nothing was going on, and you guys are turning a blind eye to all the fraud and all the things that we're bringing to the table. So it's like, it was just weird, like, you know what I'm saying, that they were talking to like the number 2 guy in the FBI, and he's bringing up all these different cases that were presented to the FBI, and the number 2 guy is like, yeah, that never came across my desk. That never came across my desk. I've never heard of any of this stuff. And he's basically like, well, you're the number 2 guy in the FBI. If Russians hacking in and causing disinformation was so high on your thing in 2016, but then in 2020 when they do it, it doesn't even reach your desk. How does this make sense? And FBI and the CIA basically just had no answers, nothing to say. They just would, oh, well, we didn't know about it. They just basically said we didn't know shit, and that's the story that they stuck to. And that's just crazy, man, how, like, it's just crazy. Like, this system is a motherfucker, man, to say the least. How does that make y'all feel hearing that the FBI and the CIA is involved in this too? If we can't trust the intelligence agencies to intervene, and that's what they exist for, then what are we doing here?
Have we not seen evidence of the FBI and CIA involved in a lot of political ploys as well as any radical ploys throughout history? This is not news. We know they have their hand in everything, and they pick and choose what they're going to act on. So this isn't shocking at all. It's really not even news. What they want is for the FBI and CIA to jump in on their behalf to maybe turn things around for Trump, and they're upset that it's not happening. So things aren't going their way. They built the system. They helped build this system for their benefit, and they're upset that the system they built for their benefit is not benefiting them at the moment they want it to. So that's all it boils down to for me. So,
Miss Cherie, that sounds once again like the Hunger Games, like as if those were the ones that are supposed to be the protecting. They're supposed to be the enforcers. They're supposed to do their jobs, and right now they're not doing their jobs because they believe that the uprise is better than the current situation. It's so weird that it doesn't matter what's said. There's nothing but proof in all media, social media, movies, that the same stuff that we're going through now has already been foreseen. I'm sorry, it doesn't come as a shock, just like what you said, Miss Cherie. Like, it is what it is, and it's always been that. And so for them to not step in yet is just more of it's not of a shock. It's more of a That's another strategic move for them to stay quiet. The more, what is it, Ronnie? What is it, y'all? From a distance, you can never see it. Jay-Z says it like, don't argue with a fool, because from a distance you can't tell who is who. You know what I'm saying? Like, they sit back on, I'm not going to get into it until I'm ready to pounce. And when I pounce, I'm going to get my prey, as the lion always says. Go ahead, y'all get it. I try to throw you the lion.
Oh, man. Hey, man, I'm just saying.
Fool, never tell who a fool is. Yeah. You never tell the difference for who is who.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same energy. Give me the same energy. But once again, you ain't gonna get that same energy because at the end of the day, nobody want Trump in office.
Yeah.
So
just I think this.
I don't know. Ronnie is all over the place.
I know Ronnie's frozen.
I think you got some lag, Ronnie.
Hey, you know why? You know why Ronnie's frozen? You know why Ronnie's frozen? Because when you were talking, Caleb, you said the R word.
Oh,
you said the R word.
I gotta stop that. I really gotta stop that.
I think just like
one thing.
Sherry
all right, there we go. It ain't your fault, Ronnie.
How do I say your name? Let me say your name right. I don't want to be saying your name wrong.
Yeah,
Free.
It's Caleb's fault, Ronnie. Don't worry about it. He said the R word. Go ahead, brother.
I don't know. I think he froze again.
But he froze a little bit. It's lag.
No, I can hear him.
But Alvin, it's something that is called chaos theory, and it's a way that you can control chaos.
Damn,
so what they do is they keep putting all these images in the movies and the TV and all that.
Am I good now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Everybody hear me?
You froze again.
Yeah.
You froze again.
Damn.
I can't. You ain't moving.
We can hear you, but you ain't moving.
Exit and come back in, man.
We can hear you.
Just exit and come back in. But yeah, like I was saying, Alvin, it's called chaos theory. So basically, what they do is they feed you these images on how to react, so that when it actually happens in real life, you automatically go to what you know, what you've seen in these movies. So this is how they control chaos with media. And this is why they keep feeding us these images and these circumstances, and why every damn movie is the end of the world. And they go back and they do Transformers and they try to tie in real historical events with a fictional story, because they want you to react in a certain way. So when certain events happen, your mind automatically goes into survival mode, and you tap into those thoughts that they've been planted in your mind through the media.
Yep. Yeah, but you know, it's funny you say that, because Yaja Kettig and I talk about all the time where when you go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, you only see what they want you to see, regardless how many followers you have, regardless how many friends you have. Like, I'm one of those people that as soon as you try to add me, I'm just okay, because I feel like I'm transparent. I got shit to hide. So it's like, how do I got 5,000 friends on Facebook and I do a post and only 5 people see it and 5 people like it, where you're not allowing it to be seen by everybody? Turn around, flip the Facebook page to a business account. Now 10,000 people see it, because Facebook is trying to make money off of you, possibly paying for ads, possibly trying to better yourself, but will put a little bit of money in their pocket. So it's like, that's how they get us on social media. And like you said, with the chaos theory, like, I thought about Independence Day when I was a little kid, seeing that back in '92, saying I've always thought there was aliens, because there's too much stuff in church that people keep throwing out about extraterrestrial beings and all these other things, where the kids, and like, you know, when you're a kid and you're in Sunday school and you ask them crazy questions and they don't give you a definitive answer, it allows you to kind of just boop and go all type of places. So it's more believable that everything is a mind control game than it is to anything else. Because look at, I've been telling all the kids that I talk to, Quarantine 2020 is the movie Disney WALL-E 2.0. We got people gaining weight. We don't even have people going to shop anymore. Just like Ronnie said, you don't have to leave your house to shop. The kids don't have to leave their house to go to school. Kids don't get to participate in sports. And the only way they get to participate in sports is if they leave their state, which parents have to basically be so well off that they can take that time off of work or basically just finance their kid going to do all these different things. And you can't have holidays together. You can't be together. I mean, this for some people is why there's more suicide deaths than there is COVID deaths in my community by teenagers, because this is more of a mind control thing than anything else that we've ever experienced, other than the flu, and I wasn't born back then.
So once you talk about the media manipulating your mind and all that, and social media, you know, kind of manipulating posts, do you think that social media bias is enough to turn an election? Do you know, is that enough to claim fraud? Because that's the premise of Trump's whole campaign right now, and his whole voter fraud is not the actual fraud, but the way that he's been basically quieted in the media and manipulated in social media and being blocked on social media, that he's claiming bias, and that's basically voter fraud, and that's the basis of his whole argument. Is that enough? Do you think that is a valuable argument?
Well, you can claim anything on social media. If it gets enough traction, it'll get attention for them to possibly look into if these claims have any base. basis or whatever. And from there, it depends. The burden of proof is on the attorneys and whomever is investigating. But once again, media and social media has always been enough to present claims. It just depends on if the powers that be act on it or not, if they think it's worth it or not, or if there's enough proof, legitimate proof out there for them to spend time and resources on those social media claims. Because everything claimed on social media, it may get enough traction, but it doesn't mean anything. And people could post anything on social media, so it means they have to investigate the sources of these things that are put out, because people can put out anything on social media. So there's that.
They ain't gonna. Once again, it goes back to what I said. They ain't gonna change.
Hold on, one second. Trump's argument is that most of the time, when the media and the polls say that a president is losing, that means that the rest of his believers go out and don't vote, or they believe that their vote doesn't matter and that their candidate has already lost. And this is why he's saying that rhetoric was so damaging to him, is that he came out with a ginormous lead in the beginning, and then the media started to say that he was losing, and then that's why people start going out and voting for him in tropes, because they believe that the election had already been called for Biden. And this is what he's saying. This is his argument.
But those randomized polls put out there
that's what he's saying.
People's opinion. Yeah, I know. So those polls change throughout the election cycle. So anybody who knows anything about polls or has ever participated in any sort of survey, those are just based on people who are willing to participate and what their beliefs are, if they're being honest. So it can go either way. You don't know if somebody's taking the survey twice and saying one time they'll vote for Trump and another time they'll vote for Biden. You don't know. And those polls are up in the air. And even at least the news media outlets I've heard, they'll always say, hey, traditionally this has been correct, or traditionally it could flip. You know, as the election closes near, the polls tend to be more accurate, or anything goes. So you'll hear certain warning signs about whether or not those are even reliable.
Man, first of all, these polls weren't accurate anyway. Last time we were on here, the dude still hasn't got out. Well, I haven't checked it because I'm on vacation. But last time I checked, the dude still haven't got his points for Alaska. They never gave him. He was killing Biden in Alaska, and they still didn't want to give the dude his 6 points. They were trying to get Pennsylvania to hurry up and so the election could be done. And when it comes to social media, you think you got a voice and you can say whatever you want on social media, but that is not the case at all. Because if you just go to your Instagram and you go hit a hashtag that you posted, just hit any hashtag. When you hit that hashtag, it's going to say on that hashtag, all hashtags have been removed due to the election, so that they can monitor, making sure you're not putting out whatever you want to put out. So right now on Instagram, none of your hashtags work, because they banned all hashtags once the election happened, because they didn't want to give out any type of news. Or if you saying anything about Biden, or you saying anything about Trump, all of a sudden your account is being banned for 30 days. So it goes back to, you ain't getting your freedom of speech, saying whatever you want. And on social media, you don't get to say whatever you want. They dictate what you want to say, or what they allow you to say.
Hey, I got to piggyback on that for you, y'all, because I try to share our podcast tonight, right? And I try to share it to my story so I can get as many people as I could to watch in, chime in, all that, right? They wouldn't let me post it. And it had, like he said, the whole election thing. And it said if you post it anyway, you were going to have a ban. Like, you were literally going to be suspended from the account. And I laughed. I said, why would it be on Instagram? And then I thought to myself and went, oh yeah, that's right. I personally registered to vote on Instagram. I saw it on TikTok, I saw it on Instagram, and I saw it on Facebook all day for 3 days straight. And I said, okay, I better vote this year. And this wasn't like this week or last week or nothing like that. I'm talking about like a couple months ago when when it first started happening. And I started thinking, I'm like, Instagram and the people who are running these different social media platforms, they know exactly who they're targeting. You can't be a specific age without having some type of parental guidance before you get on the account. Also, there was a petition this year talking about allowing 17-year-olds to vote in the next election. So if you think about it, social media is really just high school on the internet, and they're not stupid. Administration ain't stupid. They know exactly what they want to feed us, so that way we continue to stay within a specific box that keeps us from getting out or going any further. Because why wouldn't they be able to do what they want with social media? I mean, really think about it. If you don't vote or you don't decide whether or not you're pro-Trump or pro-Biden, couldn't you like literally like alter the poll? The same way they were able to take off the hashtag, they could change the way you vote on that, because nobody's gonna go back to see if that was tampered. The only thing that matters are the official ballots and then the electoral votes. So right now, the more things that is literally happening, the more things that keeps us talking about this, the easier it's going to be for the cheaters to cheat and the cheaters to win.
And you don't think social media, Instagram is owned by who? Facebook. So you don't think that they dictate what you do already? Let's forget the election. Let's say you just go on your phone. My boy Derrick Rose came out with his new shoes. Let me go on Finish Line, look up some Derrick Rose shoes. Oh, wait, all of a sudden you scrolling through your Instagram. Why is Finish Line keep popping up on my stuff? So the algorithm already knows what you're doing, what you're looking at, who you geared to, so they can get you caught up and keep you in their little system that it is. So like at the end of the day, they don't want Trump to win. So it's not, he can do whatever he want, but it ain't going to swing in his favor because they don't want him to win. So therefore, ain't nobody going to help him out with this. He a lone wolf. Oh.
Agreed. Nice sound effect.
What you gotta say, Ronnie?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with everybody a little bit. I don't think, the media or social media, first of all, is a reliable source for anything to this magnitude, because of the fakes and all the fraud and all the different ways to manipulate it. And also about the being able to be free and say what you want. Yeah, that's false. Certain videos, if you try to get promotion on certain videos, they have an approval process. Well, they don't approve it. They'll either approve or reject your ad. Certain things you're supposed to get removed, or you'll get suspended for saying certain things. So no, that freedom of speech shit is bullshit. Like, you can't do all that. So no, but to answer the question, I don't think the social media or the media bias is enough to claim cheating at all, because it's not reliable enough of a source for some of this magnitude.
Hey, I got one thing to ask you about that though, Ronnie. Have you noticed that like people like LeBron or any of them, they got Instagrams where you can actually get them to reply to you. You can actually get interactions with celebrities, but you can't on Facebook. You can on Twitter, but you can't really on Snapchat. So who's to say that it's not something that could actually just at least get enough attention to spark a conversation with more people though?
Right.
Just saying it that way. You know what I mean? But go ahead, my bad, Caleb. I cut you off.
So I heard that
okay.
The state of New York has made the COVID for all in New York, the first state. It was on the ballot. It passed this last election. So it is mandatory in New York, whenever this vaccine comes out, for all New Yorkers, women, men, and children, to take the vaccine. What is your thoughts on this?
Hey, get ready get ready. They about to put us in some. I hate to say it this way, but get ready. They're gonna want to put us in some camps,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be like, "Yo, you vaccinated? No, you go over here. You vaccinated? Yeah, you go over here." And they about to separate us and try to do it that way. And it is that's where we going to, man. They trying to pump it on us. They're gonna pump you with the like, man. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. If a mask is supposed to keep you so safe, why you gotta get vaccinated? But that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't getting vaccinated. I'm coming on here right now saying I ain't getting vaccinated. So if y'all don't hear from me and I'm in some camp, you know why.
No, I get it, but here's the deal: the people of New York voted for it, so that's the biggest thing to me. That's so weird to me because that's coming from somebody who technically the flu vaccine, they make it optional, but if you work in certain fields, it's supposed to be mandatory. But there's always a loophole to get through it. Huh?
But it's in where under control in that area is something that's necessary.
Right. In that particular area, New York is highly, highly populated. So I can kind of get why so many people wanted to go that way. But yeah, no, I don't agree, especially something that's so experimental and they still don't know how it reacts. And then the part that still cracks me up is so many people are like, we need people of color, specifically, we need black people. It was like, no, black people been experimenting on enough. Y'all not getting us again. Like, I don't think so. Not willingly.
Right.
I think I'm gonna have to kidnap us and do it again because we not going in for y'all trials to experiment on us again. Not.
Well, I heard in Texas they were doing a trial where they had a paramedic and some dude with a clipboard or some woman with a clipboard knocking on your door, being like, "Yo, have you experienced symptoms? Blah blah blah. Okay, could we write down your information and take a blood sample from you?"
Oh, no.
And like how Alvin was talking about out here in California, and they talking about Thanksgiving, Mr. Newsom came out and said, "Yo, when you have Thanksgiving, you can only have 3 families, but everybody that come in your house, you got to get their information. Why do I got to get my family members' information? Make sure you write down who you came in contact with and all their information, for you can come knock down my door and try to." Nah, I'm cool.
Nah. My only deal is, by me being a previous researcher, I need to know how they are developing the vaccine. Because I know the way they developed the flu one, for whatever reason, when I took it, I used to work in a hospital where it was supposed to be mandatory for me to take the flu vaccine. And I was one of those people who always got sick because they always make up the excuses, especially when it comes to all this mandatory vaccinations that you have to take as a kid to eradicate certain diseases. So I get the purpose of it, but for something so experimental, you have to show me that it works first. I need to see the efficacy of it. If I don't see that, no, there's no way you're going to convince me to take it, mandatory or otherwise. I need to see the data, and I'm not seeing any data, no scientific research papers that's telling me what's in these vaccines so that I can know whether or not this is going to work in my system, whether or not it's going to convert to the disease and actually make me sick. Because no matter how they explain the flu vaccine, it's actually a part of the flu. It does, part of the disease has to be encoded in in the vaccine for it to be introduced to your immune system. So your immune system is a lot like a computer. So you have to feed a portion of this disease to your immune system. So you can say, hey, immune system, here's COVID-19. COVID-19, here's your immune system. Introduce each other so we can know, so that you can get to know each other so your immune system can fight this disease in that time it sees it. So there is no way around not injecting someone with the disease. That's exactly what the basis is of all the other vaccinations, the chickenpox, all the other vaccines that's already mandatory for children. That's the basis of it. So you can't tell me that there's no part of COVID-19 in this vaccine because of what is. Then basically you're inoculating people with nothing, which is not going to help them. So either you're going to inoculate people with the vaccine that's useless, or you actually are giving them a portion of this disease, whether you think it's innocuous to them or not. The point is, you have to give them a form of it so that their immune system can recognize it to fight it in the future. So, so they're all, yes.
I'll see you in the camp too.
Yes. I know about vaccines and like I said, I'm a researcher. I'm for real, like published for a phase 2 clinical trial on pancreatic cancer. So I'm one of those
EMT. That's exactly what they do.
So I know exactly what they do. So no, you're not about to just get me in the matrix and inoculate me with anything you want to. No, you're gonna explain this to me. You're gonna show me these papers. You're gonna show me how you did these tests. You're gonna show me what's in this. If you can't show me that, then no, I'm not putting anything in my body just because you said to do it.
I got something for you, Miss Cherie.
What's up?
You know why this is happening the way it's happening?
What's up?
Because there is no focus on the future with us on this middle class level and down. It's only on the upper class and the government. Why do I say it just like that? Because this is about to become something that we're all going to have to accept and decide whether or not our children or our nieces and nephews or whatever are going to take this vaccination before going back to what? Public school. Private school is not going to force you to do it. And most people can't afford private schools. Public schools are going to make it mandatory, and that's going to be a conflict of interest. You're going to have to try to use whatever right amendment, whatever, that you're going to have to change your religious belief just to stop yourself from having to take this COVID vaccination, or your children taking the COVID vaccination. Then they're going to make you have to change the way they go to school. So they're going to put them in an isolated classroom or something like extra. Then perfect part, if this is a ploy to hurt us, not to help us, the kids are the ones that are the future that's going to lead the nation eventually. So if you force all of them to be sick and have something that their immune system can't hold and can't control, us old heads, we're going to not do it anyway. But we're not going to be here forever, at least another 50 years for them to do what they need to do to get us to go the next level up. So I think it's more or less just to make sure that the dumb stay dumb, the rich stay rich, and those that don't have enough knowledge like you have, because you put me up on game, to actually do the right thing. Because I mean, I'll be honest, if the girls go back to school and they say they can't go back to school unless they get tested, I'm becoming a full-time homeschool teacher. Same. Period. Because I will not do that. Because why am I going to give you their health and their livelihood when you won't even give me anything? That's my.
I'm gonna let Ronnie go right quick, but I just want to say, they already got us walking around with masks, right? They already got us walking around with masks, already covering our mouths and everything of that nature. And COVID is deadly. People have died of COVID. I'm not saying it's not deadly, but I don't think COVID, like Sis was saying, COVID's a flu. And I don't think COVID has artificial intelligence where it knows your age. I went into a store and it was like, if you are 2 years or younger, you don't have to wear a mask. So why a 2-year-old and younger don't have to wear a mask, but anything older than that, they have to wear a mask? Can a 2-year-old get COVID too? But we ain't thinking like that. We just going, okay, let's just wear our mask wherever we go. But we ain't going, oh, so COVID don't affect you if you eating outside in a restaurant and your tables aren't stretched the 6 feet distance or the social distance. All the tables aren't spread out like that, but you go outside and eat. COVID ain't gonna get you if you eat outside. So We need more people like you, me, Ronnie, Caleb, Alvin. We need people that aren't just going to buy the smoke screens and mirrors and go, hell no, you ain't pumping me with this vaccine. I need to know what's in it. Matter of fact, even when I know what's in it, before I take it, let's get all the leaders got to take it. Mm-hmm. All the leaders, and they got to take the same one I'm taking, because they may give them something different and call it a vaccine, and they give them something different. No, I want to see Governor Newsom take it. I want to see the next president take it. I want to see all y'all big rigs take it, all the leadership take it. Then you pass it down to us.
True. Actually, they released the name of the one that Trump took, but I'm willing to bet that by the time a trick was down to us, it's not going to be that one that got him up a couple of days. It's not, because they always give the presidents and the richest of the rich the best of the best. Mm-hmm. They give us the crap, and what Chris Rock said, they make money on the comeback. They'll give us a treatment that'll make us all right enough to get by, but they keep us broke by paying for medications and paying for. So, and while the rich get to pay one lump sum for some high cost cure all, and that's it.
COVID-19 vaccinations. Man. I mean, it ain't much more for me to say about this, you know. Alvin, Sharif, you know, I mean, bro. Vaccines, period. I mean, they force us to take these vaccines, and our children to take these vaccines to be in school and stuff like that. You know, they've been forcing these type of vaccines for years. But I will be god motherfucking damn if my children, any of them, take these vaccines. See you in camp, See you in camp, Sharif.
See you, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not taking shit. Like, period. Like I said, I will homeschool my kids. You know, my kids, the school system is bullshit anyway. You graduate and use about 20% of it in the real world any fucking way. So I will gladly teach my kids the facts of life and how to become adults. Gladly. Fuck that vaccine. Period. Period, point blank, man.
Politician podcast, the camp, baby.
Right.
Right. We deep.
We riding spinners.
Right. But what it made me think of when we talk about the stuff that's available to the rich is like, I would never forget. And if I was a teenager who thought I was one of those teenagers who read the newspaper from front to back, it was a local newspaper. When I was talking about medication and they making money on the comeback, HIV, like we all know, it's a cure out there. But here's the funny part. I distinctly remember reading a newspaper article. It was in the Chicago Sun-Times. And this was back in 01, 02. And it was in their science section. And it was like a little blurb, a little paragraph. But to this day, I cannot find it. I tried to even go to the library and look in their films, can't find it. But it was a blurb saying that there was a cure for HIV/AIDS, but it only worked on Black and Hispanic people. And the FDA rejected the cure because it needed to help everyone. AKA, if it does not help white people, it will never, ever work.
Wow.
So that's the case with any disease that's out there, including COVID-19. They're fine when it's able to be tested on white people, but I found it interesting that they specifically want to test Black people. And that's my problem. When you specifically advertising for people of color, when you've experimented on us, for example, the Tuskegee experiment, that's enough. No, when you specifically asking for Black people, I do not trust you. Period.
I don't even volunteer when they want me to lay on their beds and their pillows. I like sleep number and stuff like that. What you think?
You know, it's funny you say that too, Shree, about like you won't do it until everybody's tested instead of just having us as the guinea pigs as we've always been. I've been told more lately that, you know, every human being is worth more than $1 million. Like with your social, every human being is worth more than $1 million. We just don't know it. And if we didn't know it, why is there so many digits in our social? I was like, ooh, don't play with me. I wish I was the first letter of my social. That's 6. I'm 6 figures, 7 figures. Like, let's go. But I was thinking, like, realistically, like, it's not only is it a mind control with the mask, with the vaccinations, with us talking about the politics and everything like that, it's more or less just the fact that we've all forgot about, like, how we all used to have hopes and dreams, goals and aspirations, things that we wanted to do. You know what I mean? And going into 2020, it was such a big year because it was the unknown that it really just set us all back so hard. You know what I mean? Like, and not just us, but I mean, like the average person, they're so lost. They're so disconnected. They have no idea what's to come next, where they want to go, how they going to do it. I mean, me and y'all, we talked about how this has been the best time we've ever had being able to be husbands and fathers to our children and our wives, because, you know, we don't have to worry so much about getting out and going and handling all those extra responsibilities that we used to have to deal with. But at the same time, if things go into a consistency with this, imagine how much worse our wives and our kids are going to feel, as we still seem cool, but they're starting to deteriorate. You know what I mean? And that's just 2 out of the 5 of us. But I mean, that could be the norm for a lot of people. That this is just so disheartening. You know what I'm saying? That they're just going to give in to whatever people tell them to do anyway. Because, like Caleb said, this is a chaos. Like this is already, like, I just don't want to die today, even though I know I'm gonna die eventually.
It's that one show, man. We living out that one show. Dang, I forget the name of it, but it's Survivor? Out right now. Huh?
I said Survivor.
No. There's this show out. It has this white lady, and they all wear masks. They all do all that.
But we gotta get up out of here, man. Let's get some shout outs out before we get up out of here. StreamYard killing me.
Oh, they telling us we having too much
using the R word, bro.
Nah, we busting up all the conspiracy theories. That's what's going on.
I'm having no.
Yeah, they like, hey, too many people watching this.
Yes.
All right, I'll shout out first. Shout out PolitiKan Podcast. Shout out Ronnie, Miss Cherie, Caleb.
Let's get some shout outs before we get up out of here, man. If y'all can hear me.
Yeah, we got you. I'm starting already, Caleb. I was going first. Shout out Brandon Encouragement. Shout out my wife, everybody's significant other, your children, because we all the future. We got to continue to stay focused. Stay focused. All right, I'm done.
I'll go next. Shout out to you guys, PolitiKan Podcast. Special shout out to my mom for tuning in, Florence Davis, and participating tonight.
Oh wow, yeah.
Go ahead.
Shout out to the PolitiKan Forum. Shout out to the staff, HNS 420 Higher Learning Podcast. Shout out to all the fans and the viewers and everybody who's participating. Keep watching. We're gonna keep bringing this content. Shout out to all my panel members. Hope you guys have a blessed night.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Shout out to Brandon Encouragement, PolitiKan Podcast. Shout out to HSL Podcast. Shout out to Miss Cherie. Shout out to her mom. Shout out to my boy Mayor Alvin. Focus on the future, running wild. Shout out to everybody that is tuning in and keep tuning in. And shout out to the Russians, man. Shout out to the Russians. Like, leave our stuff alone. Just let us live, baby. Just let us live. And there's Caleb. Caleb is gone.
Right.
Yeah, always shout out to Caleb. Shout out to CEO, the man behind the mic.
Somebody got to do the outro.
And then we gotta have Ronnie. You gotta. I don't know who you messed with. You better tell him leave you alone too. Leave Ronnie's mic alone. Leave him alone. Shout out to whoever's messing with Ronnie's mic. Leave his mic alone. Let the man speak. Damn it.
Right.
Hey, he said something like he said, got it, don't, the outro. Oh, who gonna do it? You want me to do it? Hey, what does he say though? He said, I don't know what y'all about to do, but I'm about to get it.
Right.
Boom. There you go.
Out.
Out.
Out.